Welcome to Bloggers Creating Courses, the podcast which will take you behind the scenes of creating an online course. I'm your host, Verity Songon, founder and education consultant of veritysongon.com. I'm so excited to help you create an online course that you are proud of and to be part of your journey to scale your business as an online course creator. Let's get into the episode. I probably get asked the most, which is which course platform is the best, or which course platform should I be using to create my online course? And this is a really, really tricky question to answer, because the answer to the question of which course platform is the best is, well, what are your needs and what platform do you think you need to begin with? There's no one platform which works for everybody. There are so many different platforms out there. You've got, for example, Thinkific, you've got Teachable, you've got Learnworlds. Thrivecart have just come out with their Thrivecart Learn, which I'm actually excited to see how that takes off and how that progresses. But you've just got so many different options out there. And those are just some of the big names, which I've just mentioned. You've got loads of smaller ones as well. You've also got LMSs, things like Moodle. Just so many options out there. So answering the question, which course platform is the best, is actually quite tricky, because different platforms have got different features and fulfill different needs. It's not a case of picking the platform because this is what everybody uses, or this is the cheapest one, or it's got a free plan, whatever. It's about assessing which features that platform has, which features you need for your course, and marrying that together. And yes, things like budget does come into it. Yes, making sure that there are tutorials on YouTube or from bloggers and course creators who you respect. Yes, all of that kind of thing is important as well. But ultimately, there's no correct answer to which course platform is the best. So what I wanted to do for this episode is just walk through some things that you need to be thinking about when choosing a course platform to host your online course on. So you might already have a platform which you're using. You might already have a course that is on a platform, or you might have already signed up to a free trial, whatever. It doesn't really matter. You might not have signed up to any course platforms yet, but there'll be something in this episode for everybody, hopefully. So what I want to start with is this consideration of what features do you need? So what do you need in your course, or what do you want in your course? Because this is really going to help dictate which course platform you are going to go with. So, for example, do you want to host video lessons on your course platform or on your online course? Because this is going to be a real dictation as to which course platform you go for. So if you look at Thrivecart's Learn, for example, you can host video lessons on this platform. However, Thrivecart doesn't host the videos for you. So therefore, you'll need to find some kind of other cloud system or another storage system. It might be YouTube, it could be anywhere really. But you need to find somewhere for your videos to be hosted so that they can be played on Thrivecart. So in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, using Thrivecart Learn might not be the best solution for you at the moment if you're looking at video lessons. On saying that, I do know a lot of course content creators who do have video lessons on Thrivecart. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm just saying that it might not be an option for you because of that. And if you're using video lessons, you might want to look at something like Teachable, Learnworlds, Thinkific, just for example, just because they do host videos on their platform. And for some people, they will find that easier. You also need to consider, are you going to be using text-only lessons? So are you going to be having lessons with no video and just text with maybe some pictures to support? Again, have a think about how you want to present your lessons. If you're going for text only, I'd really recommend something like Learnworlds. Learnworlds has got absolutely fantastic software in it for providing your text only lessons. So does Teachable. I haven't played around with Thinkific so much. If you're looking at Podia, for example, Podia have the ability to have text-only lessons, but you don't have quite as many customization features within those. So again, if you want text-only lessons, again, I'd really encourage you to have a look around and have a think about how you're going to present those text-only lessons. Do you want to have downloadable PDFs? If so, you're going to need to look for a platform which has got features available for your students to be able to download PDFs. Do you want to sell those PDFs or just have them to be downloaded within the lesson? So again, that's something you're going to need to consider. Are you going to be wanting to put SCORM files within your course? Because not every course actually not every course platform actually supports the ability to use SCORM. So SCORM, if you haven't heard of it before, stands for Shareable Content Object Reference Model, and what it essentially is if you think of it as a package which has got loads of different standard specifications, elements and instructions within it, which would tell it's used in education technology, and what it does is it tells the course platform to perform and play out a lesson in a certain way. So for example, a lot of games for education technology are built using SCORM. Drag and drop lessons, for example, are often created and used using a SCORM model. I'm not going to go into SCORM too much at the moment. If you want me to do an episode about SCORM and how you can create and use SCORM files for your course in the future, just let me know in the comments or ping me a message. Catch me up on Instagram and let me know. Because I'd happily do a podcast episode. I've used SCORM before, and if used in the right way, it's a fantastic learning tool and a fantastic education tool as well for teaching your lessons to your students. But again, if you already know what SCORM is or you're thinking of using SCORM, you've got to consider to yourself, well, the platform that I'm going to be using for my online course, can I use SCORM files? Because not every online course platform enables you to upload a SCORM file and use it as a teaching tool. So that's something else to consider. What I would suggest then is actually sitting down and making a list of all of the features that you would like to see in the online course platform that you are going to be using, and consider, why do you want to use those features? Why do you want to use those features? For example, are you wanting to use that feature just because you think that's what you should be doing, or because that's how you think your lesson will be best delivered? Have a look at different courses that you like. They don't even need to be teaching anything around your subject topic. It could just be an online course that you really enjoyed. Have a look at the features that they used when teaching that course. Was it video lessons? Was it text lessons, for example? And write out what you liked about these courses, because that will help you with your features list as well, and what types of features you want to be looking for in the online course platform that you're going to be eventually using. If you can as well, try and take note of where the online course that you like, which platform they were using. So it could be that you look in the URL and the URL is .teachable.com, for example, or it's something at thinkific.com, whatever it is. But try and find out which platform was being used by that individual, because again, that will help you to figure out which course platforms might be good for you based on the features that you want to use. I'm going to use an example here, because, reach out to people as well. I was on a website recently. It belonged to Melissa Guller. If you don't know who she is, she has a fantastic podcast about podcasting. If you're interested in putting a podcast together, I'd really recommend you listening to her podcast. But regardless, I was on her website recently and I really liked the layout of a particular web page. So I just reached out to her, pinged her a message on Instagram, just, hi, came across your website, really love the layout on this particular page. Could you just let me know which platform you use? Did you use Build This in WordPress, or did you use something like, Divi or Elementor or whatever? And she came back to me and said, thanks so much for reaching out. This is the software that I used. And that was great for me, because it was learning, it was sharing that knowledge and information. And I didn't want to reach out because I wanted to copy the page. Obviously, I'm not encouraging anyone to ever copy somebody else's work, but it was because I liked the features that she had on that webpage, and I wanted to know if I could do something similar using just WordPress, or if I would need to have a look at a landing page system or some kind of web design builder. So that was great. But my point is if you come across a course and you're not sure where the course creator built the course, find their social media, find their email and reach out to them. And I do find that 9 times out of 10 in the blogging community, people are more than happy to answer your questions. They might take a little bit longer if, depending on how busy they are. Don't necessarily expect an instant reply. But I do find that if you reach out to people and kind of, say, I really liked this and I want to use something similar in my own work, which platform did you use? Or do you have any advice as to how you came to this, this idea of using this particular platform? Like I said, 9 times out of 10, I do find that in the blogging community, people do get back to you and they are more than willing to share that knowledge. So it's always worth reaching out and asking. The worst thing that's going to happen is that you've spent 10 minutes crafting an email or a social media message and they didn't get back to you. But as I said, most of the time I don't find that that's the case personally. The other thing that I'd encourage you to think about is consider how you want to deliver your lessons. I know I touched on this a little bit more, but think about how are you as an individual comfortable with delivering your lessons. It's not always about how your students is going to receive the lessons. It's also how comfortable you are delivering in a certain way. Some people just don't like filming themselves and recording videos. Some people are not happy with writing out loads of text and they're much happier speaking. So you really need to consider how you want your lessons to be delivered, because again, that is going to dictate what features you need from an online course platform. If you're not interested in delivering video lessons, then you don't really need to look for a platform that has got loads of video editing capabilities, for example. What you're going to be looking for instead is a platform where you can deliver absolutely fantastic text lessons and put different pictures in and screenshots and what have you. Think about as well, how is your student going to best consume your content? So is it better for them to read how-tos or almost something like an instruction manual to be able to achieve whatever it is that you want them to achieve? Is that going to be the best way for them to consume your content? Or is a video going to be a better way? Do you want to use a SCORM package? Because again, the better way for them to consume your content is through games or through quizzes. On the note of quizzes, again, look at the features which are available for an online course platform and consider, well, actually, are quizzes and assessments included in that course platform? Because you want to include those features because that's the best way to test your students' knowledge or to break up your content and give them something to do for a few minutes. Another thing which is really, really important to consider, and I have left this for last purposefully because normally it's the first thing that people think about, but in some ways I think you need to be considering the features first. But the other thing that you really need to be thinking about is what is your budget? Because it's all very well thinking, well, I want a course platform for free. I'm going to sign up to this one because it's got a free plan. But if that free plan doesn't offer you what you need, it's completely useless. And you might be thinking, I don't want to be spending $29 a month. I don't want to spend $49 a month. And that's fine. I'm not saying that you have to run out and spend however much you want per month or per year. But you do need to be considering your budget and offsetting that against the features that you want from your online course. So if you can find something which ticks all of the boxes and it's free, brilliant, run with it. If it's not ticking the boxes, then you need to be asking yourself, is the free plan actually worth it? And on that note, don't always just opt for a free plan for an online course platform just because it's free, because often free isn't always free. So let's break that down a little bit. If you have signed up to an online course platform, which is free, but they take $5 of every course sale that you make, you only need to sell 6 courses and you've given that course platform $30. If you then could have signed up to spend $29 per month on that course platform, you've actually given the course platform more by signing up to the free plan than if you had just bought their next upgrade. Does that make sense? So always consider, is the free plan actually free, or am I giving the platform in the long run more in transaction fees than I would be giving them if I just signed up for the next tier? And then if you had signed up for the next tier of the plan, you probably would have got more features with that particular platform as well. And I know that a lot of people are sitting there thinking, oh gosh, but I don't want to sign up for the basic plan or the starter plan, the introductory plan, whatever the first tier is, or even the second tier. And they're thinking, because what if I don't sell anything? I've then wasted all of my money. But then my answer to you is, unless you're giving your course away for free, then you need to be thinking, why are you creating a course in the first place if you're not planning on selling it? If you're worried about, well, I'm creating this course, but I'm not going to make any money, so I don't want to spend any money, then in some ways you need to be thinking about your marketing, and you need to be thinking about, well, what is your trigger for creating this course in the first place? Because if you're worried that you're not going to sell anything, or you're telling yourself straight from the beginning you're not going to sell anything, then you're probably not going to sell anything, because you're in the wrong headspace. So you need to be going in and thinking to yourself straight away, is this free plan the plan that I want? Is it giving me all of the features that I want? Is it ticking the boxes for me? And how am I going to sell this course? And as I said, please don't take that advice at all, that I'm telling you to rush out and I'm telling you to spend $500 per year on a really expensive plan, or even, you can get some plans which are like $299 per month. I am not telling anybody by any stretch of the imagination to run out and you have to spend goodness knows how many hundreds or even thousands of dollars on your course platform. I'd never advocate that. You obviously got to stick to your budget. But what I am advocating is that if you're going into creating and selling a course with the mindset of, I'm not going to make any money, no one's going to buy this, you're already setting yourself up for a downfall, because people are not going to buy something if you've got no belief in it, because you're not going to put your effort into the course, you're not going to put your effort into the marketing or the selling of it. So you might, if you are in that mindset, you might want to take a couple of steps back and think about why you're creating that course in the first place there. But on that note, the summary of what I was saying in that section there is, just think about the free plan. Don't opt for a plan just because it's free. Make sure it aligns itself with the features that you need. So what I'm going to do now is just go through a couple of recommendations that I do have for platforms, and these are only recommendations based on my own personal opinion and my own personal use of these sites. I'm not saying that you have to use these at all, but I will link in the show notes below the different links to the recommendations I've made. So if you are in the market for a platform which has got an incredibly customizable website and has got absolutely amazing analytics, I would highly recommend LearnWorlds. I've used LearnWorlds from a professional capacity, not for my own courses, but for businesses who I've worked for in the past, and the analytics that you get are absolutely incredible. They can seem a little bit overwhelming to begin with, but once you've got your head around how to read all of the data that you can get from LearnWorlds, it really, really is. It's amazing what you can learn about your users and how you can structure your courses based on their use and need there. And the website customization features that you get with LearnWorlds is absolutely amazing. If you can dream it, you can honestly do it on the LearnWorlds website. If you are in the market for a real all-in-one platform, you want something where you can sell downloads, you can sell digital products, you can create and sell online courses, and also manage email marketing, then I would suggest having a look at Podia. Now, Podia and LearnWorlds, they don't have free plans, but they do have a free trial. So you can always sign up to them, have a little go with the trial, figure out the features and see whether or not it's right for you. But Podia is a great all-in-one platform, particularly if you're a beginner. It's very user-friendly, and it is one to consider. It's not necessarily one of the big name ones, but I would recommend Podia if you want an all-in-one platform. If you're looking for something which has got a whole ton of features and is quite easy to use, or in my opinion quite easy to use, I would recommend looking at Teachable. Teachable, I host my own courses for this blog on Teachable. I absolutely love it. I find it so user friendly, so easy to use. It's really, for me, it ticks all of the boxes that I need, because I have video lessons, I have text only lessons, I've got some marketing on there. The website, yes, it's not as customizable as LearnWorld's, but seeing as I use WordPress and I have nearly everything advertised as landing pages on my WordPress site, that is something that is a bit of a trade-off for me, which I don't mind. So have a check in the show notes below, and there are links to all of those recommendations there for Teachable, for Podia, and for LearnWorld. If you want deep dives into each of these platforms, the pros, the cons, what I like, what I don't like, what I've used them for, what I've not used them for in the past and currently, if you would like deep dive reviews on any of those platforms or all of those platforms, then let me know. Contact me via Instagram is probably the best way to get me, or LinkedIn, just at Verity Songon, and let me know, because I'd happily do a show for each of those platforms as a complete deep dive and really give you an inside view on those platforms, because I've used all of them. So let me know. We have covered so much in this episode. I realise it hasn't been the longest episode, but we have covered an awful lot. And the takeaway that I want you to have from this show is, when it comes to which course platform is the best, the answer is that there isn't one which is the best. Nobody can turn around and say, get this particular course platform because it ticks every single box, because that will be a personal view where they are saying that it ticks every box for them. So the takeaway that I want you to have from this episode is, the best course platform is whichever one has the features which fit your needs. So to recap, when you're looking at the features, consider how you're going to deliver your content. Is it going to be video or text only? Do you need downloadable PDFs? Do you need to host SCORM? So what features do you need? What is your budget as well? Because again, I would never advocate somebody going and spending hundreds or thousands of dollars a month or a year if that does not fit your budget. You need something that is going to work for you and for your business and for your online course creative goals long term. If there is a free plan, absolutely fantastic, but as I've said before in this episode, is just because there is a free plan, it doesn't always mean that it is free. You might end up spending or giving the course platform more in transaction fees than if you'd just signed up to a higher plan. So I really hope you've enjoyed this episode. I've enjoyed chatting about the different types of course platforms out there and unpicking that question of which course platform is the best. If you've enjoyed this episode, please reach out. Please let me know. We're still in the early days of this podcast, so I would love to have your feedback and understand what you're enjoying about this show. If you've got ideas for the future or future shows, please let me know. And if I could be cheeky enough to ask you for a favour, I would love it if you could leave me a review if you're on Apple Podcasts or whichever platform you're listening to this podcast on. If you could leave me a review, I would absolutely love that. The purpose of reviews is not just for me to know what you did and what you didn't like, which will obviously influence future episodes, but what the reviews also do is it tells Apple Podcasts that this was a decent, hopefully a decent episode or a decent podcast, and it will help me attract a wider audience and hopefully help attract not just a wider audience, but help people who are just like you and want to learn more about creating an online course. So if you could leave me a review on Apple Podcasts, I would be so grateful. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next time. In the meantime, happy content creating.